Hi, I am a fossa that lives in the Madagascar. My name is Filippo the Fossa. The Madagascar is an island on the east coast of Africa. The island slowly rises up to a high point of about 2,000 meters. I live wherever I find shelter, in trees or on the ground like in caves. Today, I am in a tree near a lemur who is eating some insects. I'm very hungry right now since I usually eat in the afternoon, early morning, and late at night. The day just started, so now it's time for me to hunt. I crawled down the tree to the trunk of the other tree with the lemur in it. It still couldn't hear me and kept eating its fruit. I finally got close enough to pounce, and right then the lemur picked up my scent, but I was faster. I had a really good breakfast since most of my diet consists of lemurs, but I can also eat lizards, fish, birds, frogs, insects, and small mammals. My food chain starts with the sun, then plants. Then a crowned lemur eats the plants, and finally I eat the lemur. The number of predators, which is me, affects the environment because if there is a lot of us, competition for food will be great. But if there are few predators, the prey will be overpopulated. Another biotic factor is how much food there is. Without food, animals can't get nutrition and will eventually die. After my meal, I usually like to go for a walk. On average, I walk for 2 to 5 kilometers in solitary. Since I'm a male, my home range is 26 kilometers squared. Usually in the daylight, I just rest in a hollow tree or cave, and today, since it is especially hot, I'll get some water first. Usually in the Madagascar, there are 2 seasons, a hot and rainy season and a cooler and dry season. It is currently December, so we are in the hot season. The temperature average is about 76 degrees during this season, and we get about 200 centimeters of precipitation. Water is a very important abiotic factor that helps plants grow and is what animals rely on to live. I finally came to the water hole, but as soon as I started drinking, it started to rain. This wasn't a surprise since it's also rainy season. I started heading out to find a hollow tree to rest in. I found a tree with a few insects crawling around inside of a hole, so I had a quick snack. Did you know that 92% of all mammals found in the Madagascar are found nowhere else in the world? Now it's time for me to take a well-deserved rest. Fossas usually sleep throughout the whole entire day. Sunlight is also an abiotic factor that plants and animals rely on. Without sunlight, everything would die because of the food chain, and every food chain starts with a plant. By the time I woke up, the sun was setting. Now, I usually hunt all night. I crawled out the hollow tree and stretched my legs. I could feel that this would be a great night for hunting. As a fossa, we use sounds and smells to communicate with each other. This is a good adaptation to have because if we have to take down a large animal, we can work together, and it also helps us separate our territory from each other. I'm walking along the pond of water near me, and I know that I'm on alluvial soil, which is very fertile, and 26% of the soil in Madagascar is alluvial soil. Soil is very important in the Madagascar and is one of the biggest abiotic factors. It's the way carbon goes back through the carbon cycle. Without soil, there would be drastic climate change. One more biotic factor is decomposers. Decomposers break down plants and animal matter, which releases nutrients in the soil. I have also learned that abiotic factors rely on biotic factors. Without one factor, the other ones wouldn't be able to work properly, making the environment a not sustainable place to live. As I stop to get another quick drink of water, I smell a lemur up in a tree. I swiftly crawl up the tree next to the crowned lemur and wait for the perfect moment. Right then, the lemur stopped moving, and I leaped. Because of my adaptation of being light, I can leap across branches easily. I caught the lemur and had a great meal. The lemur's food chain starts with the sun growing plants, ladybugs eating them, then a lemur eats a ladybug. Next, a mongoose eats the lemur and I eat the mongoose. Currently, I'm full from eating that lemur, so now I'll just roam around for a while. As I walk, I come to an area of the rainforest that is currently undergoing primary succession from flooding. Since the water flooded the soil, there is none, and it's just now starting to grow back plants. There is grass and a little trees further down, and then you'll start to see shrubs and small trees. After many years, the big, tall trees and rainforest will start to grow. I also like to walk along the east side of the island and see the progress of plant life there. One major threat to us in Madagascar is farmers who overuse the soil, leaving it with no nutrients. This also causes secondary succession, which takes many years for the soil to get back its nutrients and be able to support wildlife again. While we're still talking about threats, many poachers come to the Madagascar and steal wildlife. This is a big problem, since here we all rely on each other to live. I am known as the top predator, and I'm very important in this ecosystem because I help control the amount of my prey so they don't overpopulate this area and cause competition for food. Without me, there would be way too much prey, causing the Madagascar's ecosystem to collapse. I climb up a tree so I can get a good view of what is around me. I also have rotating ankles that make it way easier to climb trees. This helps me be able to hold on to the trees so I don't fall down. As I get to the top of a tree, I spot a sloth. Sloths are part of a commensalism with flies. The flies lay their eggs in sloth dung, then they later let their larvae eat it. This only helps the flies, but the sloths are not affected by it. On the other hand, wasps inject their eggs into fig bugs so their babies can eat the bugs. This kills the fig bugs, but the wasps get their food. This is a parasitism relationship. The sun is starting to rise now, so it's time for me to go on another hunt. I started walking around to see what I could find. As I walked towards my water source, I saw a gecko climbing up a tree. I quickly raced up after it and caught it. Did you know that geckos are part of a mutualistic relationship with plant hoppers? The geckos protect plant hoppers, and the plant hoppers get food from geckos. The gecko was a good meal, so I decided to find a nice cave to sleep in during the day. I wandered over to a hill and found a good cave to spend my time in. I lay down and yawned. Thanks for coming on my tour with me to the Madagascar.